Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah, just in case you're new to my channel, or if you've been on my channel, then you already know me. If you had seen my Get to Know Me video, or my other video that I did previously, The Darkest Minds book/movie review, then you would know that I love to read. So, in honor of John Green's book, finally, after so many years of not being adapted into film, I am doing a book review on Looking for Alaska by the author John Green. It is being made into an 8-episode series made by Hulu from two producers, Josh Schwartz and Stephanie Savage. Thank you so much. We really need this. I love Alaska, and I'm so excited for this. They are in collaboration with Paramount TV and Fake Empire. This book is one of my favorites. If you know me, or if you're one of my best friends, you know that I reread this book a lot. Like, a lot. I will forewarn you though, I do have a theory that I am going to talk about later in the video, so I don't want to spoil the book for you, so I will tell you when to stop the video if you have not read this book. But if you have, you can continue watching the video all the way to the end. I'll give you a heads up when I get there. There are always small things that you miss when you read the book for the first time. Even when you reread the book, there's the smallest details that you always miss. And that's why I love rereading books a lot. So without further ado, let's go on to the video. It's most likely that you have read this book if you're watching this video, because you're probably a big John Green fan just like I am. But for anyone who hasn't read this book and is interested, I'll give you a quick rundown of what this book is about and the characters in it. I am going to read off the back of the book, so let's go! Before. Miles Pudge Halter's whole existence has been one big non-event, and his obsession with famous last words has only made him crave the great perhaps. Francois Rabelais, poet. Even more. He heads off to the sometimes crazy, possibly unstable, and anything but boring world of Culver Creek boarding school. And his life becomes the opposite of safe, because down the hall is Alaska Young, the gorgeous, clever, funny, sexy, self-destructive, and screwed up, and utterly fascinating Alaska Young, who is an event unto herself. She pulls Pudge into her world, launches him into the great perhaps, and steals his heart. After, nothing is ever the same. So there's Miles Halter, Alaska Young, Chip Martin, Takumi, I don't even know how to say his last name, and Laura. And those are the 5 main characters that you would most likely see in the book. There's also some other side characters that you guys will like, but those are the main 5 characters. And of course, Miles, as I read off the back, is the protagonist of this book. Alaska, Chip, and Takumi were best friends before Miles joined the school. And that group are just mischievous. They are troublemakers. They love to smoke, they love to pull pranks, and they drank a lot, especially on campus. Laura is a girl from Romania who moved out to America with her parents when she was young. Her family's somewhat rich, for her dad is a doctor and he does make a lot of money. And our protagonist, Miles, he comes from a middle-class family in Florida, and he went to public school before transferring over to Culver Creek. His father attended Culver Creek in his youthful years, and that's what kind of inspired Miles to go and join Culver Creek. The antagonist of the book, if you ask, is actually death. The source of death, really, grief. The overwhelming nature of grief during their grieving does a lot of damage and almost does crush Miles' love for school and almost does break up his friendships. It is a man versus nature struggle in this book. I find this book utterly fascinating because it does hit home for a lot of people, teenagers, young adults, any age you can ask, really. It really does hit home for people who are experiencing death and grief and anger and turmoil towards someone dying or someone close to being passing away, and also trying to find answers to life's questions. Some questions that are unanswerable, that don't have one answer. Some questions like, what if I did that instead of what I did to them? Would that person still be here? Or why wasn't I nicer to them? Or why didn't I hold them closer to me? It is so real and raw that the emotions that these kids are going through grief and death, and it's so relatable. It is so real and raw when someone's in grief, because all they really think about is themselves and that person being dead, and trying to answer questions that are unanswerable, you know? The book is not depressing the entire time. No, it is not. It is quite funny. I find it utterly fascinating, this book. It does really reflect the minds of teenagers and young adults, and how self-centered we can be and how selfish we can be, but also how unafraid we can be, really. It also shows that how each of us really navigates through school and life and friendships and trying to find where we belong in this world, and everyone can relate to that. We are constantly trying to answer crazy, impossible questions with even crazier answers, and it is just life, honestly, and I just love this book so much. I love this book because it is so easy to relate to the characters and going through grief and life and trying to find answers to impossible questions or questions that we don't even fully understand. So, if you haven't read the book, I would love for you to pause right here, please, because I don't want to spoil anything for you. Although you may be tempted to continue watching this video, please don't continue, because I don't want to spoil anything for you, but I need to get this out of my system. So, find somewhere else to go, and then come back when you finish the book and you want to know what my theory is. So, I've actually emailed John Green a part of my theory, and I didn't get an answer back. And it's not because he's rude or anything, but probably either he doesn't use that email address anymore, or there's so many emails from fans like us, and it's probably really overwhelming for them to look at all the emails, so they don't look at them. So the theory that I have is that Alaska's car, Blue Citrus, brakes are not very good. In fact, she was at 0.24 BAC, which is blood alcohol content, and she was very heavily impaired. I was thinking she's quite a heavy drinker, really, in this whole entire book series, so I kind of thought it would be easier for her to kind of hold herself together more, even with a high amount of alcohol in her system, as compared to Chip, who does drink, but probably doesn't drink to the same extent as Alaska does. Her death suited her quite well, I believe. She didn't swerve or hesitate or even press her foot on the brakes, and it was a straightforward fast. It was fast and repulsive. The car accident could have actually been an accident, or it could have been on purpose. Or maybe she thought that she wasn't good enough to live anymore, that she was a failure because she failed to remember her mom's day of passing away, which is January 10th. She probably thought that she wasn't good enough to live anymore, and so when she saw the cruiser, she probably thought that she could go and apologize to her mom somehow by hurting herself, you know, for forgiveness. She is very reactant and impulsive. I wouldn't even be surprised if her last thoughts were that she was a failure for remembering something so simple such as her mom's passing away, and that somehow she could redeem herself by offing herself, really. Even if hours before she promised Miles to continue their kissing to tomorrow. I want to know what you guys think. Anyways, I gotta cut it here because I can go on forever and ever and ever and ever about this book. This book is amazing. I love it. This video would probably never end. Thank you guys so much for watching this. If you guys could somehow get John Green's attention to this video, I would just love to tell him that he's amazing and his writing's beautiful, and I just love everything about him. John Green, if you're watching this, hi! I love you, and I love your passion for writing and your interest in life and answering life's questions and history and everything on your YouTube channel, not just your books. If you're still looking for Alaska, ha 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 ha. If you're still looking for an Alaska for the film, maybe I can be her. Even though there's a small chance that I could be her, I would love to be considered as an option because I do love your book and I do love her character, and I would love to be in the film. It would be crazy. Even though there's probably like the smallest chance in the world for me to be her. So, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and comment below what you guys thought or your opinions or even ideas of what other videos I could do for you guys to keep you guys interested and going. And I'm going to call it a day.